Hello, welcome to Catholic Teacher Resources, your venue for innovative and creative resources for all subject areas within our faith-based classrooms. Today we're going to be doing just a quick overview of the Learning A to Z products. But Learning A to Z has their own passwords, okay, that you're going to want to get from your tech coordinator. If you can't access that, please let me know. Email me and I'll definitely get that username out to you so you can make sure that you can access this content. So you're going to want to sign in. The subscription we have has access to Reading A to Z, Raz Kids, and Vocabulary A to Z. So although these other tabs are here, we don't have access to that. So Reading A to Z is a great supplement for your language arts curriculum. The best thing about it is the leveled books. You come to the resources tab, that's the best place to start, and books, leveled books. You'll see all the different levels here, and if you're not sure what each one means, if you hover over them, it'll tell you the age, the grade, and then a number of different leveling systems, the other different leveling systems, how they relate to Reading A to Z's leveling system. Once you realize where your kids are, go ahead and click that. Click that, and then you can see we're showing 53 books. And if you are interested in nonfiction material, now you can see I'm down to 30. And there's all these different books to pick from. Once you find one that you like, click that and you'll come to the book's landing page. That landing page has a host of different resources on it. Okay, the first thing you can do is you can print the book in different ways. The next thing you can do is you can project the book. So if you just kind of wanted to get a good overview of what this book is, scroll down here so you can get an idea. Then you can project it. The projectables are really great because not only can you show them in front of the class, okay, and read them together, but you can use these cool features, okay, like this. Now imagine if this is on a, you can highlight, imagine if this is on an interactive board. Kids are loving this. You can put stars on main ideas, right? That's always really fun. You can also frame. So if you only wanted the kids to see something specific, there we go. If we wanted the kids to only see something specific, we could do that too. So projectables are really great. I think they're really useful. Another thing you could do, just like Discovery and Learn 360, is you can add this page to your file cabinet. And that allows you to access it later. These lesson plans are really great. They're very detailed so that you can really ensure that you're giving this information correctly to the kids. There's always a Common Core supplement, and there's always a Vocabulary A to Z lesson attached to any Reading A to Z resource. Then there's all these other objectives that come along with the books. So if you wanted to focus on just comprehension or just phonics or grammar, you could do that. And then there's an assessment to go along with it. You can project the assessment too if you didn't want to print it out. If you're not sure how to assemble these books, if you scroll down here at the bottom, there's a video on how to assemble them. Okay, so that's the leveled books. There's all these other different kind of books. So some of them are going to be for different age groups, right? So, decodable and sound symbol books are going to be different are going to be a different age than, say, literature circles or theme news packs, right? And then there's all this content reading as well. So again, this is great for Common Core. If you wanted to focus on a reading skill, so if you want to focus on comprehension or visual device, this is great. There's a lot of graphs in there. So now let's go down to foundational skills. You can see you can focus on the alphabet or phonics, fluency. You can also get some assessments here. So if you want to do running records by hand, you could do that here and other assessments. Common Core, you're going to get here. So if you want close reading, comprehension, skill packs, say you're a fourth grade teacher, you're focusing on setting. Not only do you get the lesson plan, you get the model passage, the practice passage. Again, you get the projectable. You can add it to your folder here. Okay, let's look at one of these lesson plans. Here you go. So it tells you exactly what you're looking for. Again, very detailed. They're really great. Oh, I wanted to also go back to, let's look at these literature circles because I think it's a great way to see how Learning A to Z, the Reading A to Z program, they really think of everything. Okay, So let's look at, you pick a particular level, find one that you want. Oh, here it is, the Literature Circle Journal. And here's where you get your discussion leader, the predictor, right? You get the whole, it's really great. Okay, you come down to assessments. It's going to be the same thing you saw up here at assessments. We don't have the ELL package with this, but you're going to get a few support there. Instructional use, this is great if you're ever asked for, a kid has a tutor and can we get some extra work, something like that, or can we get something extra over the summer? These are really great to print out. These theme packs, really great to print out for any of that. Okay, let me come up here to the file cabinet and show you when it'd be great before you are searching for material. You come up here, you create a new folder so that you can, that's it, very easy. So that as you're searching, you can easily dump things into these folders. I'm going to skip Manage Students on purpose. Teacher Corner, this is where you're going to come for anything that you're not sure about. If you're not sure how to do something, come here. It also is a great resource for coming, again, for a Common Core. Reading series correlation is great. If you come here, you can get a lot of different activities based specifically on the literature book that's sitting in your classroom. Okay, so you pick the theme. Here you go. Now you have specific lessons centered around the reading book they have in class. So Teacher Corner, also you're going to get how to assess a student's level and a level correlation chart. So if you kind of want to look at that again, if you're not really sure, you don't want to really hover, you want something that you can print out, you can come here and you can see how reading A to Z's level corresponds to other leveling systems. Okay, I think that's it for reading A to Z. Now let's go to RAS Kids, which is really the managed students. It's really the same thing. So as soon as you go to RAS Kids, managed students is really what you're looking at, okay? So in your Managing Students tab, here you're gonna have access to not only what your students have turned in, so at the moment I don't have any work from kids, what assignments my kids are working on, who my kids are in my classroom, reports that I can print out about their progress, and their roster. So I recommend going to roster first. You can go ahead and add students very easily. Let me show you how to do that real quick. Say my student's name is Luna. Okay, I give her an initial reading level. I can give her a password or not. And I save it. Now she's a student in my class. I can scroll down and I can see her. There she is. Other things you can do in roster are you can turn the incentives on and off. The incentives are great because the kids have to complete work in order to do the incentive. The incentives are the RAS Rocket and the Robot Builder. So as the kids complete assignments, they gain points. And then they use those points kind of like money. They spend those points on their RAS Rocket and their Robot Builder. If they don't complete assessments and they don't complete work, they have no money to spend, and so they can't make their rocket and their robot really cool and fun. At some point, I'm sure in the older grades, you probably turn these off, but I bet you these incentives last a while through the grades. You can give parents access, so you can give them weekly reports that are automatically generated to send reports either weekly or monthly. So you can give parents access. Parents can also just log in through this parent access and see how their kids are doing and send little notes of encouragement to their kid. If you come up here to this RAS Kids tab, you can also turn the book room on or off, and you can customize that book room for your students. So right now I have my book room sort of open, which isn't ideal. because depending on their grade level, they don't need books that are way too easy, kind of similar to live mathletics. Okay, so you can move this so that they have a particular range to pick from. So you kind of want to make it available so that the higher readers can still get something and the lower readers can still get something, but they're not getting something way below or way too high for their level. And you can do the same thing for the Spanish books, trade books. You can turn on or off all these other books as well. So again, I did that in the customized book room, and you can turn the book room on or off depending, on your student. Spanish books, again, on or off. So I did all of that in the roster. I'm in the managed students roster. Documents for home are great because they talk about accessing Learning A to Z and what RazKids is. All right, the reports, again, these are going to be great reports for any sort of parent conference your child has, your student has, I should say. It also shows what level they're working on, shows you when's the last time they logged in, shows you who's reading, who's been listening, what quizzes they're completing, how they're progressing on their assignments, and how they're doing on specific skills. The assignments tab are where you can create your own assignment or assign them a particular assessment. So if you wanted to determine what Luna's reading level was, right, that was our new student we just added, you can assign her a running record. So assign her a running record. And actually, we're going to do this for just Luna because she's brand new. And we initially put her in L. So let's make sure that she should be in L. We're going to assign this passage. Okay, so now if we wanted to go see what Luna sees, we're going to, and notice that now that we're under assignments, we're automatically in Kids A to Z now. So this is a newer product that Learning A to Z just came out with, and it's basically a portal so that we can access the kids' information. Okay, so even though we technically have a Reading A to Z and RazKids and Vocabulary A to Z license, we now really don't need to go to the RazKids tab anymore because all of the RazKids resources are found in Reading A to Z, and any of the so they're all here. And all of the RazKids management tools, as far as the kids are concerned, anytime you click that, like we were in assignments to check on Luna, it automatically brings you to kids. So really, we're just focusing on Reading A to Z and Kids A to Z from now on, and vocabulary to also supplement. Okay, so again, we're trying to see what Luna sees after we assign her an assessment, right? So we have to be in Kids A to Z, and then we're going to sign out. And then we're going to come to, think of this as your seating chart, right? So now you're going to click on Luna. Now notice it takes me right to her screen. This is what Luna would see when she logs in. However, if I didn't give her a password, if I would have given her a password, I would have had to also type that in. Okay, so if we had other products like Science A to Z and Headsprout and whatever else, we would see other planets here. So we have RazKids, okay, which is what the kids access, how they complete the assignments that we assign them. So it says, oh, you have a flight check. So it's telling Luna that she has to complete this before she does anything else. So now let's go ahead and try this out.
It will take up to 15 minutes to complete all 3 steps of this assignment. If you do not have time to complete the assignment, stop now and come back to the computer later.
So kids are going to hear this every single time they have an assessment.
Before you begin reading, we need to make sure your microphone is working. Start by clicking on the green Allow button. Get ready. Say your name into the microphone.
My name is Luna Presto.
Now, listen to what you recorded. My name is Luna Presto. Did you hear your name? Click yes. Great. Click the red record button and begin reading aloud.
Okay, so now the student's going to read this home for lunch assessment. What's that? Asked Anna. Dad said to make lunch while he's working. Blah, 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 blah. The kid's going to go ahead and read it all, and then when they're done, they're going to stop, and they're going to send that off to you.
Retell in your own words what you just read. Tell as much as you can remember. Click record to begin.
Okay, so now the student is going to try to retell as much as they can about that reading passage, something about lunch, blah, 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 and then they're going to stop. And again, send that off to you.
Answer questions about what you read. Click quiz to begin.
Okay, so simply 5 questions, right? Not too big of a deal. Kid's going to go ahead and answer them all. And then, done.
You have completed your 3-step assignment.
Not so good.
You earned 300 stars.
Okay, but notice, what do the kids get? The kids get 300 stars. Why is that important? That's important because now that kid can go spend those stars on the incentives. Spend it on the Raz Rocket. Spend it on the robot, right? So here we go. I got some cash to spend now. Just a little kind of lay of the land here for what else we're looking at, where we could see that Luna's at L, progressing to M, right? Different than mathletics, where maybe the kids probably don't know what course they're in. Here's the book room. So these are all the books that you've allowed, right, from that range that was set earlier. You've allowed the student to look at these levels. Then this is the assignments. So these are the assignments in Luna's level, right, that she needs to complete. And as she completes them, she's going to progress on this range here closer to getting the next assessment for M. Okay, so now let's look on the teacher side of things for what it looks like when students submit that assignment. So what we're going to do is we're going to log out. We're going to go back to that sort of seating chart type screen. Yes, you're a teacher. And it's going to take you back. Now that you're back at the teacher screen, now you can see your in basket says 1. That's because Luna submitted her assessment. So you're going to come here, you're going to click on that. Then you can see there's 3 parts of this assessment. First part is going to be the running record. You're going to listen to your student.
Okay, so now the student's going to read.
And then anytime there's a mistake, you go ahead and you mark those mistakes. And I want you to notice that every time there's a mistake,
Okay, so now the student's going to
notice that it goes back. Now, it's not going to start over. I didn't record that much, but it'll go back about 4 seconds back, which is so awesome. You're not missing anything.
Okay, so now the student's.
And then as you're making all these markings,
Okay, so now the student's going to.
you could see that the math is already being done for you here on the side.
Lunch assessment. What's that? Asked Anna. Dad said to make lunch.
Okay. You could give a message to the kid. Great job, Luna. Then you can also give extra stars, which are great. Don't make assessments like punishment. You know, make them like, oh yeah, I want another assessment. I want another assessment, so you can get more stars. They can use them towards their Raz Rocket and the robot. You can also download this. This is great for parent meetings. You can print these results as well. Okay, so now you're going to go ahead and go to the next phase. And this is where the student was trying to retell what they remember from the story.
Okay,
so you
so
can
now
listen.
The student's going to try to read.
And after you listen to everything, you're going to score it. You're going to score how that student did. And there's a little rubric right there. You can again download that. You're going to keep going. You can see how the student did on the quiz. And you're finished. Once that assignment is graded, now you want to look over it to see whether or not Luna should remain at that reading level or move. So let's go to reports to see. Assessments. There's her assessment as well as other students, recent students. And you could see how she did on her retelling, on her quiz, and on her accuracy. And then if you're wondering, well, what does that mean? What do I do with that? You're not sure what to make of those numbers? Let me show you a really great resource. Go to Reading A to Z. Go to the Teacher Corner and go to Assessing a Student's Level. This is really great. I would print this, look over it a bunch of times, and then Two really great graphs here are an assessment schedule, so you can see based on the reading level how often students should be assessed. I think that's a great idea. And then it tells you what the running record should be, what the comprehension quiz should be in order to advance or instruct or lower the student's level. So again, where did I find that? I was in the teacher corner, assessing a student's level, and that again was in reading A to Z. Okay, so then we go back to look at Luna's assessment based on what we just saw, and we can see that although she got a 97% on the running record, her retelling in her quiz wasn't that great. So she should probably stay at that level for the moment and try to maybe I would work with her on her comprehension. Okay, now the last thing we're going to go over is creating a custom assignment. So again, we're still in Kids A to Z. We're going to hit assignments. And instead of assigning an assessment, what we did last time with the running record, we're going to create a custom assignment. So I'm going to call this plants. I don't know. And sure, all my kids are going to do it. I'm going to pick a reading level. You're probably thinking, okay, well, what's the difference here? Here they're going to listen, here they're going to read. And I'm going to save it. And now they've all been assigned that. So now when they log in to their Kids A to Z accounts, what they're going to see is that assignment before they can do anything. Okay, that's it for the Reading A to Z and Kids A to Z sort of tag team there. Now we're going to move on to Vocabulary A to Z. It's a great resource. First, I recommend just scrolling down the left side if you're focusing on grammar or content, right, or any connections or special lists. You most likely find that right here. So if you were looking for human body, once you find the words you're looking for, click on those, add them to your list up here, and press next. You can either download it without saving it, or you could give it a name, put it in your lessons, which is going to be right here on this tab. You could change the type size, you can get the lesson plan, and some worksheets and assessments to go with it. And they're even saying, hey, you can also get some nouns to go along with this. Sure, why not? I'm going to download it and I'm going to save it for later. Here's what every Vocabulary A to Z lesson plan looks like. There are always these 5-day lessons. They often come with a graphic organizer. They always come with the words in context. Great to print off for the kids. And then they always come with a series of handouts. So here's the definitions, but here's another handout, another one. So many that you can give to the kids for practice. Then, now we get to some fun games. Well, here are the nouns that you can do fun games with, but then here's all these other games. Here's all the directions. And then not only the directions, now here's all the materials for those games. Vocabulary A to Z is really great. And then you get sort of the assessment piece. So all the Vocabulary A to Z lessons work this way. So now let's look at some of the connections. You can do ELL stuff, Reading A to Z, and Science A to Z. Now technically our subscription we don't have Science A to Z, but we can access the vocabulary. So say we're trying to focus on the planets. We teach 5th grade. So I'm going to erase this list, clear it. By the way, if I click on this, when it's printed, I could also print these pictures. Any word that has a little camera like that means that when I get that lesson, I could get a series of pictures as well. Okay, so here we go. I'm filling up my list there and I'm pressing next. And the exact same thing would happen. I can either download that without saving or I can save it. And anytime I save it, again, it goes into the save lessons. There we go. Here is the ones I've saved so far. Human body was the one we just did. Going to pre-made lessons, you can get all reading A to Z for every single book, every single assessment. You can get vocabulary for that. Then you can also get your literature book series that are in your classroom. So if you already have Scott Forsman as a literature book in your class, you have a class set, come here, you teach 3rd grade, and you can get a vocabulary lesson to go along with the units that you're reading. So we don't have to reinvent the wheel, right? We don't have to make and pull out those vocabulary from these units on your own. Let Vocabulary A to Z do it. So let's check one of those out. Here you go again, see? Here's the teaching plan. And there's all the words already put in for you. It's really an awesome resource. The cumulative assessment just allows you to take previous lists. So you could take the human body, and I can pick from there. And then I can also pick from the adverbs, a previous list that I made. And what I can do is I can make a bigger list so that I can get an assessment created. So they will also make an assessment, which is great. And if none of these lists are really working, or you feel like you just want to type in your own list, go ahead and type in a word that you are thinking of and search it. And then if you want, let me clear this. If you want to start your own word list by just searching, do that too. Really great resource that can be used in a variety of ways from a variety of different content. Okay, that's it for our tutorial today. If you have any questions about this tutorial, our site, or resources, feel free to contact us by email or phone. Thank you, and God bless.